Peace and security are paramount for the development of any economy. Now, a few years back, right here in Bangui, the capital city of the Central African Republic, the word peace was not one that was known. The situation was dicey, but today the situation is different. The story is one of hope. Welcome to this special edition of Doing Business in Rwanda, where we bring you the story of hope from Bangui, and where we bring you Rwandan businesses that are thriving in this very economy. What is that like? Well, stay tuned to find out. The streets of Bangui in the Central African Republic are bustling with life and activity, a sharp contrast from the images of war and destruction that characterized the city not too long ago. The landlocked country in the heart of Africa is bordered by the DRC, Chad, Cameroon, Sudan, among other countries. The Central African Republic has been ravaged by years of civil war involving rebels from the Seleka coalition and the anti-Balaka militias. Responding to a humanitarian crisis at the time, a contingent of Rwandan troops were deployed to the Central African Republic in 2014.
Okay, the Rwandan contingent first arrived in 2014 under MISCA, the African Union force that deployed here when there was a humanitarian crisis. So it later on metamorphosed into MINUSCA. And our forces, who began as 850, expanded to a bigger force. And their role was mainly to protect civilians during the crisis. And they got additional roles of protecting the MSR to the border of Cameroon, and to also additionally protect the president, his residences. You visited one of them in Damara, and several other key installations such as the airport and a few VIPs at the higher level. Yeah, so that is the UN force. But we also have a bilateral force which deployed in 2020 when the Bozize faction, the CPC, Coalition for Patriotic Change, threatened to overrun a legitimately elected government, the current president. And he requested our country to support in dealing with that threat. So we successfully repulsed the Bozize faction, and today we can safely say that they were disintegrated. They are scattered and disintegrated.
Since their arrival in the country, the contribution of the Rwandan contingent to the security situation has been described as immense.
Rwandese are in charge of protection of the presidents. I'm sure you know. Okay? So that is a trust which is coming from the top leadership to have this contingent to protect the presidency. Not only the presidents, and also certain ministers and also certain judges under JTFB. Okay? Then I've just given an example of Samwanja where they stabilized. And also MSR1. We had a problem in MSR1. UN convoy bringing resupply here from Douala, they were blocked by armed elements for 2 weeks. Yes, there were other forces that were in charge of MSR. But we opted to settle on Rwanda contingent. Immediately it moved in. Those armed elements, were expelled, and they even opened up, the MSR up to today. Up to today, no armed element causes any problems along that MSR because of the Rwandese.
According to an economic review by the World Bank, the Central African Republic's economy has suffered blow after blow, with real GDP growth estimated at 0.0% in 2022. However, economic activity is slowly picking up, with local and foreign investors making the most of the available opportunities. Rwandan investors have not been left behind.
We are actually supporting the African Free Trade Area concept, so our people can fly in through Rwanda, through Douala, and straight here and establish businesses. We have people constructing basketball courts, we have restaurants, we have construction activities in different sectors, which are undertaken by Rwandans. We believe, even back home, we have opened up for the whole continent. So we believe that it's important for us to freely move from one country to the other. So our people have exemplified that by coming to Central African Republic.
I came here when things were a bit tough. That was 2017. And during that time, there was still a big crisis here that was going on. However, now things have changed. There's a lot of law and order now, at least. I remember when I first moved here, we had a curfew at around 9, if I'm not mistaken. However, now there's no curfew in the country. So I remember being here the first time. We only had a few restaurants that were running. There were about 2 or 3, and they were mostly Lebanese owned. So that's how I came up with, when the curfew was removed about 3 months ago, that's when I came up with this concept of saying, why can't I start something where, since we have a lot of international community here that can enjoy, spend an evening, lunch. If you notice, we also make some African food, like especially from East Africa. We have, namely like the nyama choma, which is our favorite dish here. So people come here because of that.
When I came here, it's been like 3 years now. I started with small business here because I wanted to adapt myself here. But now I'm in construction business. That was what I'm doing here. As a Rwandan, I can say the business environment here is just friendly because Central African guys, they are built with many different people, because when we came here there was Lebanese, Cameroonians, Guinea, so many countries were here. So I think with Central Africa, it's okay. We are good with them.
At that time, the situation was really bad, and we were afraid that if the violence escalated, we would have to close our businesses and leave. But after our Rwandan forces got here, the situation has calmed down. That's why we are working without fear.
Investment opportunities in the Central African Republic are immense. The agriculture sector, for example, is ripe for investment. Albert Sengiyumva, a Rwandan businessman, is making huge investments in smart agriculture.
Hano hose ureba kugera hirya iriya hose
we cleared this whole area, you see, and now we have 5,000 hectares of land. We planted and harvested about 7,000 tons. The work is still ongoing, and we want to get 15,000 hectares, and that way I'll be able to produce maize flour, some edible oils, because we will have machines.
Aho nibwo nzamenya uko bizagenda, kuko nzagira ibyo nkuramo ifu, ibyo ngurisha ibigori bisanzwe, ibyo nkuramo amavuta, kuko ubu n'amamashini azaza yo gukora amavuta.
freedom of movement is part of the mandate of the Rwandan contingent right here in Bangui in the Central African Republic that ensures that businesses, people can move even in the night. As you can see, business is alive quite late in the night just because freedom is secured, or rather their security is ensured, and businesses are able to continue even late into the night. And that ensures that the economy keeps moving. As you can see, the small businesses are the ones that are operating out here, and they are sure that their security is ensured because of the night patrols that are done by the Rwandan contingent right here in Bangui.
The city is bustling. You can see a lot of movement, both during the day and night. And yeah, so we can say that, of course, the proof is in the pudding. The fact that people can invest in different sectors. You find shops are open up to late in the night. The mining industry is vibrant once again. There is a general, movement of goods and, people and goods throughout the city. And the MSR is very functional. So we can say to a large extent that there is freedom of movement.
Apart from ensuring the freedom of movement, the Rwandan contingent is mandated to secure the Douala-Bangui corridor, which is crucial for the Central African Republic as it is the main supply route to the capital city.
The Rwandese contingent that is securing our MSR1 from the border with Cameroon up to here. MSR1 is the lifeblood of this country. You close MSR1, this country is gone, because there will be no resupply coming in, all the way from the port of Douala in Cameroon. They are doing a fantastic job. I've visited them several times. Even not long ago, I was in Biroko, Bostelpele. I interacted with them. They are doing a fantastic job.
One of the reasons is that there is a good road to Cameroon. There is a flight to Cameroon. So there are a lot of, reasons why that is a very important route. And so protecting it is vital to the survival of the city and of the state in many ways.
Most of
the things you see here come from Cameroon. Trucks bring them from Cameroon.
With an election expected in the Central African Republic, are the business people worried?
Not really. Not really, because I believe of our people, the Rwandan military that is here. They will do all their best to be able to keep the city safe. And the MINUSCA being here, of course. So, being honest, I saw the elections in 2020, and the ones that will come, I don't think, to me, it will change anything. Yeah.
I can say nowadays, since the last election I was not around, but every day you will hear the rumors saying this and this and this, but many times you have to wait and see, because we believe in a bilateral with the Rwandese and Central Africa. There is also MINUSCA here. We are not worried too much.
Actually, our deployments, the bilateral, as well as the UN deployments, which are primarily, supposed to ensure that elections take place in a safe environment, will be involved. The UN has it in its mandate to ensure that elections are conducted in a safe environment. But the bilateral force, which was brought in to secure the establishment in times when they were under threat from rebel groups, will also continue doing what they came to do. But in addition to that, as you saw yesterday, we are also doing SSR, security sector reforms. We are training the local forces to be able to, to operate when we decide to leave. And we're also doing joint on-job, training with them, which is also very vital in building capacity.
That concludes this special edition of Doing Business in Rwanda, where we brought you Rwandan businesses operating in the Central African Republic and the contribution of the Rwandan forces in maintaining the security of the country. I'm Tessie Coven. Until next time, bye.